Welcome to the Learning Lab Instructor Edition. This is your safe space to ask questions about your teaching practice. You can ask questions about the National Mahjong League game as far as the rules are concerned, and you can also ask questions about teaching. We're here to help you build a successful, sustainable, fulfilling teaching practice. So please let your questions come through the live stream chat. And if we don't have any questions, I do have a topic ready. We're going to talk about building a lesson catalog today. This is the third in a series of lesson methodologies. And then we're going to move into, I believe, finance next. All about not about making money per se, although that will come into play, but it's more about managing your teaching practice so that you're not coming out of pocket so much. You want to make sure your business is sustainable. So that's what's on the horizon. Hello, Kathleen, Laura, Beverly, Molly, Kay, welcome. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask before we head into the topic today? I'll just give you a minute. We do have new channel members. Kay and Molly are both new channel members. Thank you very, very much for supporting MAHJLIFE. Okay, let's go ahead and get started then with our topic for today. Again, we're talking about building a catalog, a lesson catalog. There are several ways that you can do this, and it depends on your teaching practice or your business model. And when I say business, I mean that would apply whether you run your teaching practice for fun, gratis, no charge, or whether you charge for lessons. It's still a business. It just depends on your vision and your convictions, I suppose. So this will help regardless. Let's see. So the idea with a lesson catalog is that every instructor has go-to lessons, and this is just a way for you to track them or manage them so that they're handy for those last-minute opportunities that might come up. Instead of having your lessons on Post-it notes or maybe multiple journals, hardcover journals, or maybe just on loose note paper. This idea of a catalog is much more structured because it'll allow you to categorize and also make it searchable. So if you're in a hurry or if you just want to search your catalog for topics or ideas, levels of play, you can do that instead of rifling through notes and papers. So that's the idea behind this lesson catalog. And I do have a template for you. So I'll want you to download that if you are at your computer. There is a template for you. And we're going to look at that. And we could even create your first entry together. And I'll demonstrate how you can do that using the block method. It's the blockbuster method that we covered. I believe it was it last week or the week before? I don't recall. Hi, Debbie. Welcome. Okay, so by the end of this session, you're going to understand what the lesson catalog is all about, how to build one, how to maintain it, so that you can have a go-to source for yourself. And also, by the way, you can use it for clients. So if you, for example, do lessons with JCCs or like recreation centers, you'll be able to take that catalog or let's say a PDF version of it and give that to them to look through so they could find some lessons that maybe would fit their ideal client or their community base of players. So any questions about today's topic on building a lesson catalog? I guess I should ask, does anybody currently have a lesson catalog? Does anybody right now use a lesson catalog? My lesson catalogs have been my YouTube channel. All my lessons are in videos. So that, in essence, is my catalog. But I also have my lessons in a signature talk catalog where I have basically the content that we're going to talk about in a little bit of a different format, but I have a lot of my ideas from lessons that have worked for me converted into signature talks. So with my own business, I've migrated from doing lessons to doing talks. So I do them virtually, in person, in videos. So I have a signature talk catalog, and I'd be happy to show that to you as well. Where can you find the download? That's really good. Okay, so Beverly says she has somewhat of a catalog. Okay, great. Yes, let me tell you where you can find it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see. Let me know if you can see my screen. And you're going to go to my website. And if you, I'm just going to start at home because that's where you'll start. From the home page, you're going to hover over instructors, and then you're going to go down to Learning Lab. So instructors, Learning Lab. Now, if you're a member of the MAHJLIFE Instructor Guild, your menu system might be a little different. So just look for the Learning Lab and click on that. And from there, you're going to click on Instructor Edition content. And this is where you'll find the resource hub, which has the show notes from all of the live stream episodes. If you scroll down to how we can help, you can type in today's date using the YYYY month day format. So you would type 2025-11-13, and that's one way to find it. Just click search and it will come up, or you can go down to featured articles. Under newest, it'll be right there at the top. The topic for the day on Thursdays is released at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Eastern time. So if you want a heads up on the topic for the day, this is where you'll find it. Again, you can just type it in here as well. So once you get there, it'll take you to the show notes or episode notes. And here you're going to see what we're going to talk about. So you can circle back to it and review. At the bottom, there's download the easy blockbuster catalog template. And that's what we're going to use if you want to, if you're at your computer. And yeah, there we go. And then also after the episode, I'll update the watch this episode with a video link so you can watch it later. All right, so now the catalog idea. This again is your personal archive of proven lessons. It could even be, you could add a status to them as well. I like to use WIP for work in progress right next to the title of my lesson or my entry. So if I have a table of contents and I refresh it, anything that says WIP is a work in progress. And I know if I have, let's say, a little bit of time where I want to do some creative work, I'll open that catalog and I'll look for WIP and click it and then build out a lesson that's in progress. And then if something is complete and ready to use, I'll just remove that. And then some that are just ideas that are just beginning, where I've not quite built it out at all. It's just more of an outline. I would say if it's an outline, it would be WIP. But if it's just, let's say, a topic, I would say not started. So next to the title, and I'll show you how to do that, and then create a table of contents so you can see what I mean with WIP, and then not started, and anything that's ready to use would have nothing next to the title. So if I need a quick lesson, I could always scan through that table of contents, and anything without WIP or not started is ready to rock and roll. So any questions so far about a lesson catalog? It's your ready to teach resource instead of rifling through papers. The reason why it's a good idea, it saves prep time. Anytime you document, you can teach it, tweak it, make it ready for the next time, and then refine it as you go. If new ideas come up where you can make it better, and then reuse it. So teach once, refine, reuse. Once you get it documented, it builds consistency as well with your brand. It could become a signature lesson or a signature talk. If you're going to be teaching, let's say, a big class of, say, 40 to 50 or more students, I would say that'd be more of a talk than a lesson. It also allows you to scale, and you could even collaborate with colleagues. If you're going to be doing, let's say, a multi-instructor workshop, and they want to see what kinds of topics you have ready to go, that catalog can be used to share with colleagues. And it could even act as a professional portfolio. It can show that you know what you're talking about. Now, all of these, in this particular template, it is for internal use. You would want to convert the content into something that would be more of a marketing piece, which I'll show you when I just give you a little glimpse into my signature talk catalog. That is for outside eyes. So this template is more of an internal working document to help you stay organized and keep your thoughts in order, keep your lessons in a one place where you can use that to not continue working on ideas, but also refine and then reuse. But you'll want to convert that to something outward facing. And we'll, of course, talk more about that. I could even demonstrate it as well. So what you want to include in the catalog entry, you'll see if you look at that template, what is included. You'll want the lesson title, the objective, which is what you want your students to walk away with, or what you want them to achieve, the focus of the lesson. You want to know at the high level there what the audience level is, the student skill level, how long the session is, what materials you're going to need, the lesson flow. Let me see, maybe a notes field, the date is helpful. So those are some of the things that you might want to have in there. Now, this particular template doesn't have all of that. These are just some ideas that I have found helpful. Let me just look at, where did it go? Hold on one second. I think I tucked it away real quick. Oh, here it is. So I've called it the Easy Blockbuster Lesson because it uses the Blockbuster framework for add-on lesson plans. And this is, if you missed that episode, it's a 4-phase methodology that will simplify your lesson planning. And there is a link to this in the template, so you can go back and watch that episode where we demonstrated that idea. So this is kind of a follow-up. Let me see, the sections that we have in this one, in this catalog, are the lesson title, the audience, the format, a tagline, a value proposition, the transformation or outcome, and then the lesson plan itself using that blockbuster format. So we have some of these, like the lesson titles in here. The objective is the same thing as the transformation outcome. The audience level is in here. I do not have the duration in here. And then the materials that you'd want, those would need to be added. And I think also, I don't personally keep a date because the lessons are timeless. So you don't have to have a date, but if you want to track the versions, like a last updated date, that might be helpful. So when you are thinking about adding a new lesson to your teaching practice, how do you currently organize your notes? How do you organize your materials? Do you have sort of a staging area or a binder, or do you have digital storage? How do you manage your teaching materials? Let me know in the live stream chat. I'm a paperless person. I prefer to use as little paper as possible. So I do a lot of my organization digitally. So I have folders where I save everything, all my ideas, all my PowerPoints, they're all, well, clearly if it's a PowerPoint, it's going to be saved digitally. It's a file, a computer file. So I have all my talks in a folder on my computer. Beverly uses slides. So you use digital storage, your PowerPoint slides. Okay. When you have new ideas, where do you jot down your new, or how do you track your new ideas? Some people like paper and pencil. Some people think better with paper to pencil to paper, and that's fine and good as long as you're able to make it functional, if you're able to find what you're looking for. I like to do it digitally because I can use keyword searches. Like if I, for example, I was looking for the blockbuster, the last time I shared about the blockbuster method, and I don't remember what I called the catalog that went with it. So I just typed catalog and then I typed blockbuster. And since it's digital, everything came up right there. So I was able to quickly find what I was looking for. Okay, so Beverly uses edit. You edit the slides or you use the presenter notes, okay. A lot of times what I do too is on my iPad, if let's say I'm watching TV with my husband and I get a brilliant idea, I have my iPad with me, I'll send myself an email and I'll title the subject lesson idea or wiki article or signature talk idea, and then I'll paste my thoughts in an email to myself. And that is basically like a to-do list. So if I have multiple ideas, I just send multiple emails to myself. And then when I go through my email, I transfer that to a task in Outlook to remind myself to build out a new lesson or create a new wiki article or create a new signature talk. So I use Outlook through my iPad at times. And then if I'm at my computer, I'll use Notepad or Word and I'll just create a fresh document and then title it for the new talk or the new lesson or whatever it might be. But I always put a reminder to myself in Outlook, because otherwise I have all these great ideas just sitting on my computer and I forget about them. But if I create a task to follow up, remind myself to build out whatever it is that I have this brilliant idea for, then I'm able to deliver. So does everybody use some kind of a reminder system, a tickler system like Outlook tasks? that's very, very handy. I highly recommend it. Okay, so any questions about why a catalog is a good idea, and basically whether to use it digitally or pen to paper, pencil to paper, what have you? Laura says she emails herself too. You create different email folders with different topics. Okay, then you move the email to the appropriate folder. Yeah, that's sort of what I do as well. I usually go from email straight to the folder, but I do create a task for myself to, especially if it's something I'm, that's, I've got a fire under my feet about it. I'm excited about it. I'll create a task so that I don't forget about it. Oh, and another thing that I do is I'll have on my computer, for those who like to organize digitally, I'll have under my business name, I'll have services. That's where I put my lessons and talks and coaching and all those sorts of things. So in the lesson folder under services, I'll have backlog. So there'll be multiple documents in the backlog, meaning I haven't started yet. It's just kind of an idea that's simmering. And then I'll have WIP, what I'm working on now, and then published or ready. And then, so there'll be 3 folders. So buckets, use buckets to help you organize. And when you're in that creative space, you can go to that lesson folder and go straight to your WIP folder, or maybe you're not started and migrate a document to that next step, the WIP folder. If your WIP folder is empty, go to that not started folder and upgrade something or graduate something to WIP, and then work on it. When it's ready to use, then migrate it to the published or the completed lessons, whatever you want to call it. Hello, Sophie, welcome. All right, so when you are looking at the catalog, did everybody download that? You want to think about the structure of this catalog. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I thought they were launching the big card in January, but I'm not sure. We're talking about lesson catalog today. All right, so you want to, again, think about how you want to organize your catalog. You can organize it in several different ways: by topic, by skill level, by format, by framework, meaning is it going to be, what kind of methodology are you using? Is it a signature program, or is it maybe using the block method, a 1 hour or 45-minute lesson? So you want to think about how you want to organize it. And you could even create an Excel spreadsheet in addition to your catalog, because a spreadsheet will allow you to use filters, and you can filter by multiple columns if you have a large catalog. Now, if you don't have a large catalog, then just a Word file is going to serve you well. But if you have a large catalog, then I would recommend adding an Excel workbook that will help you filter a list so you can kind of slice and dice it. You can't get into the Learning Lab. Can you please share your screen? Okay, well, I can. It's a public, you don't have to log in for the Learning Lab. So where are you, Beverly? This is, you want to go to Instructors up here at the top, click Instructors, and then you're going to click Learning Lab. Any of the files that I use should be convertible. You should be able to convert it to any other document type. And then you're going to click Learning Lab. And then you're going to scroll down and then click Instructor Edition Content. Instructor Edition Content. Click that button. And that's going to take you to the Resource Hub, Learning Lab Resource Hub. And from there, you can search for today's show notes, or you can go down to Featured Articles and click Building a Lesson Catalog. Once you get to that, you'll be able to follow along what we're talking about and then download the Easy Blockbuster catalog template. And that will take you to a page where you can then click download, and then that way you can have that local. Okay. Did you find it, Beverly? Got it. Okay, good. Okay. So when you have that document up, you want to choose a lesson that you already have done, just to put something in there to get it started. So think about a lesson that you're already doing and document it. Make sure you write a clear outcome, which would begin with, by the end of this lesson, students will what? Students will gain confidence with hand development after receiving their dealt hand. Something like that. Some kind of the goal. What is the goal of the lesson? Or what is the outcome? What do you want them to walk away with? And then list the sections in the template. And of course, you can make it your own. That's just kind of a starting point for you. So you would want to document your lesson plan, whatever the steps are. So type in one of your lessons in there and get it started. And I'll go ahead and open that up. I think I have it right here. So let's go ahead and make one together. And then I'll also, has anybody in here used ChatGPT for lesson planning? So maybe we could do one on the fly. We definitely have time. Students will know how to con for flow. Okay. And if anyone doesn't know, con is a Ricci Mahjong terminology for Kong, which is the American Mahjong equivalent. Sophie says she hasn't used ChatGPT, doesn't operate in Hong Kong. Okay, so you can just use good old brain power, or and find resources to help you as well. Sophie, do you know about Bloom's taxonomy? Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again. All right, so let's see. I think I'm going to do another version of this. Here's the Blockbuster lesson catalog. In here, the little subtitle is the 4-phase approach. Basically, the idea with the Blockbuster is it's one topic with 4 phases for transformation, including gameplay. So this will walk you through that idea of creating a catalog for Blockbuster methodology, but you can use whatever methodology you like. If you want to watch the episode on the Blockbuster method, there's a link right there so that you can watch it. I have in here some quick notes about why having a catalog is helpful, clarity for event coordinators, confidence for you, and consistency in your teaching practice. How to build it. There's steps here in how to build it. Start small with maybe, well, we're going to do one today, and then just add to it depending on how many you have right now, and just continue to add to it and refine it. Clear it out for ones that are just, you're just not feeling quite right about. Just remove them or go back to them and refine them. Make each lesson signature. Make sure that it's authentic to you. And then follow these four phases of the blockbuster, which is warm up, topic, application, and reflection. These basically will help keep your lessons consistent and comprehensive, and they can be nice and short. And again, this 4-phase idea is for people who already know how to play. It's kind of an add-on lesson, or it's to get from people from beginner to intermediate advanced. And then also use it to help you balance the time in your lesson planning. Typically 10% for warm-up, 20% for the topic or the teaching piece, 60% for the application, and then 10% for reflection. Give them time to think about what they're going to take away from the class, and then cover anything that needs some edification. If you need to do a review, if somebody shares something that reveals that maybe they didn't quite get the point, or where you can refine it for them, that's what reflection is for. And then of course organize it somehow by theme or by category, by topic, by skill level. And I'll be happy to share with you my signature talk so you can see how I've done it. And then refresh it, keep it rotating, refine it as you go. Okay, so, and we kind of talk about the maintaining it there, and then the benefits to you. Here's a little bit more about the template that we're going to look at, and we'll just look at that on the fly. And then if you want to have some ideas on the catalog categories, here are some examples for you to think about. So we're not going to go into any of that. There's just some ideas there for you. So here is the template. So for the lesson title, you would just want to give it a title. And let's see, let's think about an idea, a lesson idea that we can do together. You can do one from your own bank of lessons, and then we could do this one together as well if you like. Let's see, I'm trying to think of something new. We've done a demo on the Charleston. Have we done a demo on pivoting? I think we have. What about a lesson on joker, dealing with handling jokers or something like that? Something about jokers. A lot of people have challenges with jokers. I think if we maybe do a lesson on playing with jokers in American Mahjong, that might be a fun lesson and an opportunity for you to bring in, let's say, I have a wiki article titled Joker Protocols, and all the rules around jokers are in that one article. That might be a great way to do a review on joker use and all the ins and outs of jokers in American Mahjong. Okay, so let's do joker. Let's see, we'll think about how to make it clever later. So we're just going to say handling jokers, something like that. So handling jokers. The audience will be beginners ready for the next step, and intermediate players building confidence. So it could be for both. And this would be probably an add-on class, because you're not going to be able to cover all those joker protocols in a beginner lesson. That would be really overwhelming. So the tagline, you wouldn't want to do a tagline until you get the outcome defined. And you really wouldn't want to do a value proposition until you get the outcome. So I would probably put the outcome first. So we'll tweak this as we go. So the transformation outcome, by the end of this lessons, students will move from problem to outcome. So basically, let's just say the problem is confused about jokers to confidence with when, why, and how to use them. So something like that, just something to get you started. Then we can remove the brackets. Being, okay, by the end of this lesson, students will move from being confused about jokers to being confident with when, why, and how to use them. So that's our initial transformation. They're going to be confused and they're going to walk away confident. They're going to know how, or when, why, and how to use the jokers. Okay, so there's our outcome. Now that we have our topic, our title, this is a working title, Handling Jokers. And now we have our outcome. The next thing that we want to do is go to ChatGPT. So let me pull up ChatGPT. I have it right here. Let me make this bigger. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT, and I will send this to you, or I'll put a link to this so that you can download the session notes so you can see how we progressed with educating ChatGPT with the way we think and the language that we use, the tone that we use, our teacher's voice. You got to train ChatGPT all about you as an instructor. Okay, so I want to do a lesson about handling jokers. And my, let's see, let me go back to this right here. I'm going to copy that outcome and go back to ChatGPT. And I would say, and by the end of the lesson, students will move from being confused about jokers to being confident with when, why, how, and when to use them. Okay, so I've told ChatGPT what I'm working on. And now I want to frame it for ChatGPT. I want to tell ChatGPT what I want to help with. I want to get later, after we get a lesson plan, the lesson plan will come first. And I want to tell it how long I want it to be and put some parameters around it. The more information you give it on the front end, the less tweaking you have to do. So this, let's see, I want to do we'll go back up here, and I want to do a 45-minute lesson about handling jokers. And by the end of the lesson, blah, 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 we've got that there. I want to use the blockbuster method, and the blockbuster method is, oh, I have it right here. Okay. It opens, what is that called? Echo? No, I don't know what that's called. This takes a second here. Let me just double check on the comments so far. Is everybody with me? Okay, this just takes way too long to come up. All right, that's taken way too long. We're just going to tell it. I wanted you to be able to see it. Warm up, let's say 15 minutes. Then we have the topic. So let's say 15 minutes. And in the topic, I want to do, well, we'll circle back to this. Let me tell you the rest of the blockbuster method. The next one is application/activity. And let's say 30, let's say this will be 30 minutes. And then we have the reflection. And that's going to be, let's say, 10 minutes. And that gives you 5 minutes for final thoughts. Something like this. Okay, so the warm-up, let's say we're going to do a warm-up. We're going to do a questionnaire, a quiz about Joker rules, Joker protocols, wiki article. Okay, so we'll test our students to see how much they know. How much do you know? The topic is going to be handling jokers. And I know that's lackluster. We're going to circle back to that later. And then the application will be playing a game. Gameplay with commentary, with coaching. Gameplay with coaching. And I'm sure joker opportunities are going to come up. Emphasizing on joker opportunities. And then the reflection will be, I like 3 different questions. What was hard for you? What was easy for you? What is your takeaway that you'll use in your next game day? Okay, so now we're telling ChatGPT that we want to do a 45-minute lesson about handling jokers. By the end of the lesson, students will move from being confused about jokers to being confident with when, why, and how to use them. I want to put in here the wiki article on jokers, joker protocols. We'll come back to that. So we're going to go here and we're going to do joker protocols. Joker protocols, Article 221. So I'm going to just copy that. You could see that the list is pretty long, so you might want to combine these, or these are organized in order of that they're shown in the book. You might want to sort of group them together in different ways to simplify the list, because this is pretty long for a 45-minute lesson. So you'll want to tweak it. So maybe the most complex joker protocols, for example, you could do. Okay, so quiz wiki article right here. We'll paste that in there. So we've given ChatGPT even a source. Use the wiki for source material. You are totally allowed to do that. I use Creative Commons for my licensing. So as long as you give attribution that you use the MAHJLIFE wiki to help you with the lesson, that's all I ask. And you can repurpose the content. Okay, so now this is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, because this is going to become our lesson plan, and phase 4. I want to use a block method for my lesson plan. Okay, so there's our instructions for ChatGPT. Can anyone think of anything else that we need to do for this? Let's go back here. Warm-up topic application. This is the blockbuster method, 4-phase approach to deliver short-form transformation. Okay, so there's that. And that was the Joker protocol. Here's our lesson for today. Topic skill level. Okay, did we tell it it's going to be for beginner, intermediate? And let's go tell it beginner, intermediate. So I want to do a 45-minute beginner, intermediate. Okay, I think we're ready. So here we go. We're going to hit enter, and let's see what kind of lesson plan ChatGPT gives us. So again, you want to make sure that you're giving it a lot of parameters so that you don't have to do a lot of rework, but you will be making it your own still, because ChatGPT gives you, they're your assistant doing that research for you, and then you're going to copy and paste it into something you can work with, and then you're going to edit it and tweak it, give it your teacher's voice to make sure that it aligns with you as the instructor, and that it also has your personality in it. Okay, so here it is. Here's a polished, ready to teach 45-minute lesson built around the blockbuster method. ChatGPT framed it so it feels like a thoughtful, confidence-building experience where beginners and intermediates can feel steady around jokers instead of intimidated. Okay, so, and they're even offering to create a slide deck, worksheet, or printable cheat sheet. I think we want to have a quiz. So we're going to ask ChatGPT for a quiz. Let's go back to our document here. The transformation outcome, the lesson plan, activity. We want to do a quiz on jokers. I just want to put that there to remind us we want to do a quiz. Okay, so here, the lesson promise, that is the outcome. And we told it what we wanted to do. Let's see if it changed it from our original thought. By the end of this lesson, students will know exactly when, why, and how to use jokers, moving from hesitation to clarity with ease during active play. That'll work. That's a good starting point. Okay, so here, phase 1, warm-up, 15-minute, activate what you think they know, surface gaps gently, and ease them into the topic. Activity, short quiz. It gave us a quiz. The short quiz drawn from Joker Protocol's article. Present and question orally or on a handout so the synergy stays conversational instead of test-like. I like the idea of oral. That's awesome. What or when can you do a joker exchange? Who can exchange a joker and who can't? I think there's a misunderstanding in there. What are the rules for picking up a discarded joker? That's good. When is it too late to exchange a joker? That's fantastic. Can you exchange a joker from a dead hand? That's good. What's the etiquette around reaching in to do a joker exchange? That's an interesting way they worded that. I would definitely change that. But this is a good starting point. Do you see how ChatGPT gives you what you asked for, but still requires you to make it your own. This is really key when it comes to using ChatGPT as an assistant with your lesson planning. You've got to make it your own. And then down here, let me see if anyone has any questions, because we're going to use that. We're going to tweak it. Okay, so now tone for the discussion. This is an instructor note. Let students wrestle with the questions before you clarify. The goal isn't scoring well, it's surfacing misconceptions so the instruction feels relevant rather than abstract. You're not doing a lecture, you're creating opportunity for engagement. Can ChatGPT make a take-home handout? Yes. Yep, they can. And we're all these, incidentally, I am changing these sessions to 90 minutes because over time it's proving to go 90 minutes. So if we're 7 minutes away from the top of the hour, if you have to leave, feel free to do that and then come back and watch the rest of the video. It will be up within the hour after we end. So just so you know, 90-minute sessions will be the Instructor Edition, the Learning Lab Instructor Edition live streams. So it'll be 90 minutes. Okay, so back to the lesson plan. Phase 2, topic instruction. Let's see, take home. Okay, here's what I'm going to do really quick. We're going to do gameplay focus, and then we're going to also add in here materials. Handout. So that way Laura will make sure that we ask ChatGPT. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Okay, so now we're back to the topic instruction, handling jokers, clarity over guesswork. Students at this level usually struggle with 4 areas: spotting joker opportunities, knowing when exchanges are legal, understanding timing windows, trusting themselves to actually make the move. So they're recommending what jokers can and cannot do, how to read the card to determine joker eligible groupings. That's good. But this is something they should know. These are 2 things they should know in the fundamentals. I probably would not do those, or maybe review it, but it shouldn't take much time. Timing window for joker exchange, safe versus risky assumptions. These two are good. I think those 2, the first 2 bullets I'd remove, because these again are players who've already been through fundamentals. They're gonna know you can't use a joker with a pair. They're gonna know you can't use a joker with a year block or singles. They're also gonna know that jokers are usable in pair, pung con quint. What to do when someone else's joker tempts you. So basically when you can do a joker exchange on your turn, when you start your turn. How jokers influence pivot decisions. That's more about strategy than protocols, but it's good for discussion. Maybe you could, instead of talking about pivoting and joker influence, create a block for joker tactics, like joker bait. That might be a good one, because that does go into joker protocols. Emotional pitfalls, about doing it wrong. I probably wouldn't go into that myself. I think we probably have 4 different bullets. I think I would want to have 5 or 6. So I'd probably ask for more. So we'll circle back to this. We're just kind of doing a high level review, but you can see that you gotta modify it. It's not just plug and play, run with whatever ChatGPT gives you. You don't want to do that ever. Okay, so now your teaching arc might sound like jokers are tools of power and tools of clarity. I personally wouldn't use that. When you understand the boundaries of jokers, they stop feeling like traps and feel like opportunities. That's good. So I would reword that a little bit in here. Now down here into phase 3, we've got application. This is where they apply what they learn. Now I wanted to bring this up because I think, I'm going to go full screen for a minute. I think what would be really good for this kind of a lesson, especially for this application phase, is to do something called the 4-corner method. The 4-corner method. And I found this when I was working on that blockbuster method, because I found the 4-corner method as I was researching teaching or lesson plan methodologies. And this 4-corner method is something completely different, but it sparked an idea for the blockbuster method for me. So 2 separate things, but I wanted you to get an idea of where this 4-corner method came from, because I actually talk about it in that blockbuster live stream. Because this 4-corner method is where you take the room and you create stations. So you have 4 stations in the room where you have tiles or hands, games, preset to drive home a point. So let's say, for example, the first corner in the 4-corner method would be multiple exposures with jokers and sandwiching the jokers. So you would have an example of why you would want to have jokers in between natural tiles. So let's say that's the first corner, sandwiching jokers in exposures, joker organization. Then the second station would be joker exchange opportunity. So you would have hands laid out open, and one player's going to have an exposure with a joker and one player's going to have the natural tile. So the players will be able to exercise the joker exchange. So that's the second station. And then another station could be joker bait tactic. And then another station could be, let's say, maybe end game push-pull judgment, where someone's holding jokers for their final discards. So you have 4 stations in the room, and then you would have multiple instructors with different groups, and the groups would go to the different stations. Or you would have an instructor at each station. So you would have yourself plus 3 assistants, or maybe have the more experienced players who understand joker use at each station if you don't have extra instructors. So you would have the more experienced players at one of the stations, and then the players would be grouped together and they would go from station to station. And that way they can learn the different learning objectives at each of those stations. I think this would be a good example of how to use the 4-corner method. Any questions about this 4-corner method idea? Has anyone ever used it? I know the group in the Cherokee County, I don't know if they know that that's what it's called. They may or may not. I think they do have an education, one or more of them may have an education background, so they may know about this 4-corner method, but they use it in their taste of Mahjong, or their introduction to Mahjong class. They actually use this 4-corner method. Okay, so we're going to go back to ChatGPT now. So here's the format: guided gameplay with real-time coaching, missed exchanges, timing questions, hand development choices influenced by jokers, and then a reminder on ways to coach. Make sure you ask questions as opposed to teaching. You would ask questions like, what options do you have right now? Instead of saying, well, you could do that. Or, oh, here's what I see. go for that hand. So instead of telling them what to do or teaching them, you're going to ask them questions. So that's the difference between teaching and coaching. You want to ask questions. What would exchanging that joker do for your hand? And also, what would exchanging that joker mean for your opponent? Could it leave them with a jokerless hand? So you want to ask these kinds of questions. The goal is repetition reinforced and real-time correction, so students walk away with muscle memory, not just information. And that's why application is key. You want to give a good chunk of your lesson to application. And then the final 10 minutes would be reflection. And you would ask questions. What was hard for you with jokers today? What felt easier than before? What did you surprise, or where did you surprise yourself? What's one joker habit you'll carry into your next game? Those are pretty good. And then it even gives us a closing statement. The more you work with jokers, the more you'll find they don't complicate the game. They simplify your path forward. Well, not always. Sometimes it's complicated. Okay, so what I would do is I would go ahead and copy all of this. Oh, we want to put all this in here. So we're going to copy all of this and we're going to paste it into our document. We're going to paste it in here. I'm just going to push all that down. We'll paste it in here. Okay, so there's what ChatGPT gave us. The learning objective is up here. That's right there. So we're good for that. The activity is the quiz, which is up there. So we don't need that. And we've got the gameplay already defined. We'll circle back to the handout after we do a little bit of refinement here. So now we're going to go back to ChatGPT up here. So let's kind of tweak some of this. Guiding prompts. What are the rules? Let's see here. I would say these are all good. The ones that I didn't care for are these right here. So I would say under phase 2, replace the first 2 bullets with more advanced joker protocols, because those are fundamental and already learned, known, whatever, something like that. Okay, so let's see what it gives us instead of those first 2. So you just want to make corrections, ask for replacements, or just replace them yourself. Okay, so now here it's giving us more advanced areas to cover. It gave us a refresh with more detail, which is actually kind of nice. Okay, so we've got timing window exchanges, not just that an exchange must be done immediately, but when counts, but what counts as intermediate, how to navigate shared airtime at the table, and how to avoid overthinking the window. Oh, so yeah, I would reword that big time. When 2 people spot a joker opportunity, how is priority determined? Okay, so ChatGPT thinks that you can exchange a joker at any time. We, of course, know that you cannot. When can you do when you can or cannot exchange from a hand that is dead? That's good. So it gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll be able to remove some of these. So I would just copy that and then paste it over these. And then I'd come back and tweak it. Like this one here, I would turn anything that I want to either remove or change majorly red. So use colors, use font faces to remind you to come back and modify in depth. So this would be a red flag. So we want to revisit that. Opponents' exposures could either anchor or mislead your decision reading patterns, the role of late game pivoting, protecting your own joker, see who's watching your joker. No, there's nothing you can do about that. I just remove that. Okay, so now let's just see here, application and gameplay. Instead of this, I would do the 4-corner method. So that would be, I think the 4-corner method is good. 4-corner method, corner 1 would be sandwich or jokers in how arranging jokers and exposures. And then I'll put sandwich. Some people call it sandwich. Okay, then corner 2 was joker, how to do a joker exchange, including etiquette. Corner 3, joker bait tactic demo. Corner 4 is end game or push fold judgment, discard planning with jokers, something like that. Okay, and then ask questions at the stations. Let's say station. Okay, 4-corner method. So this is stations. Okay. Any questions about the 4-corner method and under the application phase? And this is all good, I think. What was hard for you? What was easy? Where did you get surprised? What's one? Okay, that's all very good. Okay, so now I think this all looks pretty good, except for these. I'm just for timing. Ethics and etiquette. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We'll just remove them for now. Okay, so we have our lesson plan nicely worked out. Any questions so far about the lesson plan at the moment and how to train how to correct ChatGPT? So you read through it, you ask for something different, something new, you correct any misunderstandings. Like for example here, jokers can only be exchanged after a player begins their turn by either completing or claiming a discard and completing an exposure or picking a tile from the wall and racking it or requesting a joker exchange. So right here, timing and ethics. Bullet 1, timing. Bullet 2, ethics. Okay, so we're going to correct it. Maybe it'll give us some better bullets. Beginning your turn, very good. Ethics, if players see the same exposed joker, what? No. Okay, this one though is good. So we'll keep that. And we're just going to put it in here. We'll circle back and make it, make it ours later. So we'll just tuck that in there for now. All this will be edited. Okay, so we've got that in there. I would want to make that shorter, by the way, and make it the same consistency as the others. All right, so now what I would want to do here before we go to the handout is I would want to create a better title, and I would want to create a tagline and a value proposition for your catalog entry. So I would just copy all of this because we've made some tweaks. And then I would go back to ChatGPT and I would say, here is my draft lesson plan so far, or below. Below is my draft lesson plan so far. Give me 6 alternative titles. Then I'm going to paste all that in there, and let's see what it tells us as far as some titles. Okay, here we go. Mastering Jokers, Timing, Tactics, and Table Sense. Timing, Tactics, and Table Sense. That's kind of cool, especially because we're using that 4-corner method where they're going to go from table to table to table. Jokers Unlocked, how to use them with confidence and clarity. Meh. Jokers in Motion, Smarter Exchanges, Sharper Decisions. The Joker Advantage, Turning Uncertainty into Power. Jokers Made Simple, From Hesitation to Strong, Clean Play. Nah. Playing Jokers Well, The Skills That Separate Beginners from Confident Players. I would say this one is my top. I would do this one. Mastering Jokers, Timing, Tactics, and Table Sense. Now, you could do a mix and match. Like if you, for example, like Jokers Made Simple with Timing, Tactics, and Table Sense. So maybe we can do a combination. So let's do that. So I'm going to come back up here. And instead of handling jokers, we're going to say Jokers Made Simple. And we're going to use Timing, Tactics, and Table Sense. I think that's really nice. So that there's our title. Jokers Made Simple, Timing, Tactics, and Table Sense. And I'm going to come back here to ChatGPT and say, I like this title. So we've told it the title. Now they're going to maybe give us an opportunity for refinement. Timing, Tactics, Table Sense mirrors how players grow in their Joker fluency. That's cool. Okay, now what I would want to do is say, just ignore that. I think it's good the way it is, but I would want to ask it for some taglines. So I'd say, help me with some taglines. Okay, so here's some taglines. Build the instincts you need to use jokers with confidence in any game. Some of these are kind of long. I'm going to tell it these are, let's see, shorten the taglines. These are too long. Build real confidence with every joker. Learn when to act and when to wait. So you want to think about, this is the title, and then the tagline follows. Jokers Made Simple, Timing, Tactics, and Table Sense. Learn to act and when to wait. That might be good. Let me go back up there. Jokers made simple, timing, tactics, and table sense. Maybe master the moments that matter most. Yeah, that's kind of a mouthful. This one might work. Sharpen your timing and table judgment. I like this, but I don't want to use timing and table since it's in the title. So let's see, I kind of like the flow of that. Sharpen your something and something. So sharpen TBD and TBD. Sharpen your instincts and judgment. Pow. Sharpen your instincts and judgment. I think that works. Oh, down here, tagline. Short promise. Sharpen your instincts and judgment. I think that's pretty good. What about you? Okay, so then what I would want to do is I would want to ask ChatGPT for a value proposition. And this is what goes to help you with, this helps you with your marketing so that you can market your new lesson. You can use the value proposition to help you get an email blast. You can use your value proposition to create a Facebook post, and you can use the value proposition to create a catalog blurb for your venue or your client. So I like this one. Okay, so help me with a student-facing value proposition that highlights the pain ending with the outcome. That's basically a value proposition. If jokers leave you second guessing, unsure when you're allowed to exchange, worried about doing it wrong, or hesitant to act in real time, this lesson will replace that confusion with steady instincts and clear judgment so you can use jokers confidently in every game. That gave me chills. If you ever get a visceral reaction, it's good. It's a good starting point. You'll still want to tweak it maybe, but it's a good starting point. So I would say that's a keeper, and I would plug that in right there. So now we have our title, we know our audience, our format, our outcome, a tab, and a value proposition, and we have our lesson. So let's now move to the handout. So we're going to copy all of this. Because we've made some tweaks, and we're going to go to ChatGPT and say, I'd love to give my students a one-page handout. What would you recommend for this final or this current draft? And then paste it in. A one-page student-facing handout. You want something that feels approachable, practical, and useful. Not at the table, though. This would be take-home. This would be a take-home handout. It's best not to have papers at a table outside a lesson. You wouldn't want a student to think they could take papers to a game where experienced players are. That would be awkward. This would be a take-home student-facing handout. Okay, so here it is. Recommended take-home handout. Jokers Made Simple. Timing, tactics, and table scent. Sharpen your instincts and judgment. Number 1, the big idea, a short paragraph. A friendly explanation of why jokers matter. Number 2, joker protocols, 5 or 6 bullet points, maybe the top non-negotiables that you want them to remember. That's really good. Make sure they know that there's more. So I'd say number 2, make sure students know there are more joker protocols to learn. See wiki article. I don't, which one was that? Article 221. Because I would want to have a QR code, a URL, or a reminder to use the MAHJLIFE wiki to help them go for more, learn, dig deeper, learn more. Okay, so going back to number 2, we would edit that. Let's see, table sense and decision-making cues, short self-coaching questions. Ask yourself, is this the moment to act or not? Basically, ask yourself reminders. Common missteps to watch out for. Forgetting the timing part, making sure you start your turn correctly. Holding jokers too protectively in the late game. Yeah, that goes into, are you playing to win, or are you going to fold and block? One action to practice this week. Each time you see an exposed joker, pause to ask yourself whether you have the matching tile and whether acting now strengthens your hand. That's good. Why this works, okay. Do you want me to turn it into a one-pager? Yes. I think that's okay for the sake of time because we have 5 minutes. Let's see. Yes, create a handout that is not numbered, but bullets are fine. A one-page, there, a one-page handout. Okay. Joker Essentials. Instincts, use these questions to guide your thinking. Common misconceptions, one takeaway. So you might work on that, but it's a start. And then come back in here and go to the bottom. And then this would be handout. And I would just do a hard return. And maybe even that part of your standard that you would have your handout. Oh, it put it all in bold. So we'll, there we go. Oh, it did it. No, it didn't do it there. Okay. We don't need this to be bold here. Okay. So there you have it. You have your first entry here. So here's the catalog. Now, what I would do is let's see, this is, we're going to turn that to normal 20. We're going to do a hard return here because what I want to do is how to use this template. And I'm going to put that at heading 1. And here is my first lesson. We'll just do, let me see here. We'll call this beginner, or let's just call this intermediate lessons. So there's heading 1. This would be heading 2, because then what I would want to do is come up here and put in a table of contents. So now we have how to use this template, or how to use this catalog, whatever. And then this is where I was talking about using WIP. This would be done, but let's say that we're still working on it. Actually, we're editing it. So WIP in the title right there, and that way when you refresh this, it says WIP. So just looking at the table of contents, you'll know which lessons are a work in progress and which are ready to use. And then this handout here should be heading 3, or not a heading at all, actually. Okay. And then you would just add your other lessons after that. Okay, we're at 8:29. What do you think about using a lesson catalog? And what do you think about using ChatGPT as a lesson planning assistant? Any comments, questions, concerns? I hope you found this helpful. Yeah, ChatGPT is helpful. It'll save a lot of time. I have heard that just in videos and in social media, I've seen lots of posts about ChatGPT being used by teachers, that it has saved a lot of time for people. But the key is you've got to make sure that you edit it and put in your own teacher's voice. Make sure it is in alignment with your personality and it uses language that you use. Otherwise, you could come across as inauthentic. So you want to make sure that you inject your teacher's style, your teacher's voice, your personality into whatever you take out of ChatGPT. It's a research assistant, a lesson planning assistant. You coach it, correct it, train it, and the more you use it, the more it remembers how you think, how you teach, the language you use, your tone, your teacher's voice, and then you're not having to edit as much, but you will always need to edit. Can ChatGPT write Jeopardy style? Can you give me an example of what you mean by Jeopardy style? Oh, like, okay, I think I know what you mean. Okay, oops. So let me, yes, and it just depends on what you tell it. Okay, convert the quiz questions to Jeopardy style. What is who can? Jeopardy style Joker protocols. This action must happen before a player is allowed to exchange a Joker. What is the beginning of your turn? These are the only people at the table who may legally exchange a Joker. Who is the player whose turn it is? What type of tile, once discarded, cannot be picked up even if it's a Joker? What is a Joker? What is a discarded Joker? You can't pick up a discarded. Is this what you were looking for, Laura? This moment marks the end of your chance to exchange a Joker. What is the moment your turn ends? This status determines whether a Joker in another player's exposure can be exchanged. What is being dead to the player versus dead to the table? This polite behavior keeps Joker exchanges clear and avoids reaching confusion. What is announcing your exchange immediately and clearly? Okay, so I'll copy this. And I'll add that. To the quiz option. Okay. All right. Yeah, you just have to query. You just have to learn how to query ChatGPT. Now, there are, if you look at, there are something called prompts, best practice prompts, and you basically give, or you prep ChatGPT with a role. So for example, you would say, acting as my lesson planning assistant, research how to create a Jeopardy game with quiz questions or something like that. And then you would say, create a quiz for Joker protocols based on this wiki article. And then you could say, as my lesson planning assistant, combine the quiz questions with the Jeopardy style game theory. So that would be an example of the way that you would query ChatGPT. Give it a role, give it the fodder, give it the sources, give it links, give it an example, post or copy and paste in a draft of what you have in mind, and then see what it gives you, and then refine it or correct ChatGPT so that they can fix what they gave you and then refine it. And it's a work in progress. You found it difficult to rewrite as Jeopardy style responses. Okay, good. Glad you found it helpful. Okay, you're welcome. So, excellent. Now, next week, we're going to be moving into, I think, the finance topics. So things like, let me see, just to give you a heads up, because it's not about revenue generating. Well, that's not true. It's not about making money. That's not what the topics are about. The topics are about how to run a sustainable teaching practice, whether you charge for money or not. So even if you don't charge for money, you can still find value in these sessions. So please come, because it may save your teaching practice even if you don't charge, because you want to make sure that your teaching practice is sustainable. It's got to be sustainable. And because there are things that can happen that you might not intend if you don't think about how much your teaching practice is costing you, how much giving lessons is costing you. You've got to think about these things, even though sometimes thinking about money, talking about money is uncomfortable, but it's important. So we're going to talk about it for the next 3 weeks. And let me just give you a little heads up on the topics, just so that I just want to be transparent and give you opportunity to consider it and decide whether or not you want to come. So what we have on the horizon is am I in the right? No, I'm not in the right wiki. Sorry. I have 3 wikis on my website now. Okay, here we go. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? Finance isn't for another 3 weeks. We're talking about systems next time. Sorry about that. We're going to start talking about finance beginning December 18th. So we're going to be talking about systems. We're going to talk about systems, and we're going to do systems for 2 weeks. We're going to do tech tools that simplify your life, and we're going to do creating an equipment setup that saves time. And I think there's another one in here on how to create a staging area. So 3 weeks of systems, and then we're going to talk about finance. And then when we talk about finance, we're going to talk about the true cost of teaching, balancing passion with practicality, how to create smart pricing and fair value. And then finally, we're going to talk about affiliate marketing, a way for you to get another revenue stream to help you with a sustainable teaching practice. So that is going to be for the next 6 weeks. That'll basically end the year. Actually, this will go into 2 weeks into January. So it will end up the year and then go into January. And then we'll even do more thereafter. So I hope that you will join me for these sessions. Please share with your instructor friends, because this is a collaborative effort, and I'm hoping to continue to deliver value for instructors so that we can all enjoy what we love doing. And we can do it even better. So please share about this episode or this live stream with your friends. Again, it's going to be 90 minutes on Thursdays, beginning at 1 Eastern time. And also, if you have not yet visited the MAHJLIFE website and you are not a guild member yet, consider going to MAHJLIFE and looking at the Instructor Guild, and consider joining, because we do more of this support to help you with your teaching practice. So please consider that. There's a link in the video description below. With that, I'm going to say thank you for being here. Moderators, thank you for helping monitor the chat, and we'll see you again next week. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way, you'll get notification when I post a new video or go live, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.